BlogTalk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to this program about your Kundalini awakening experiences. My name is Chrism, and I welcome you to this show. Now, you'll notice some of you that have been listening in the past that I have not put on the music today. I had, testing it out, and it sounds kind of rinky-dink, I have to say, so I apologize for those who were enjoying the music, but last week's intro was so spacey. It wasn't working for me, and I think it wasn't working for everybody else too. And so, well, at least a lot of people. So we'll have to figure out a different format. In the meantime, we'll just go back to the old format, which is what I just did. So I'd like to welcome everybody in the chat room, everybody who's calling in. I'd like to welcome people who are listening in the archives, the future people. And I'd like to welcome everybody who's listening on their smartphone or in their computer. Welcome to this program. And I'll just go ahead and jump right in. In anywhere in the world, really, we are able to fashion a way of living our lives within patterns that we become familiar with, patterns that we're comfortable with. To use a typical American family, you get up early in the morning, maybe 5 or 6 in the morning, and you start getting ready for work. And if you got kids, you start making their lunch. You don't wake them up until around 6:30 or 7. You wake them up, you get them dressed and ready to go, and you put breakfast on the table, and everybody kind of meets in the kitchen, and then everybody kind of goes their separate ways. Drop the kids off at school, or they catch a bus, or they go to school on their own. And then your day progresses. And, that's a very comfortable, well-worn routine that people, live their life with. And, many people, at least here in the United States. And what I'm going to suggest is that Kundalini can change that pattern. And you'll fight that change. You will fight that change. And it's a very difficult change to embrace. Before I go any further, though, I would like to know if I'm being heard in the chat room. Vicky, Vaughn, or Sue Homer, if you can let me know that the voice is coming through into the chat room. Just say yay or nay. And then I have, and I believe I already checked out the sound with Rosemary. So that's working right now too, evidently. And maybe they're not hearing me, I wonder. Let's see. Okay, so the Kundalini can break that pattern and cause you to have to make a new adjustment in your routines, not just in the morning, but in other areas as well. And it will do this. It will do this, and it will do this consistently. It does this by opening up levels of information that, before it activated or awakened within you, those levels of information were not available to you. Looks like the sound may not be working in the chat room. Anyway, so you're going to have to find ways of adjusting. You're going to have to find ways of adjusting your comfortable lifestyle to the Kundalini, because the Kundalini, because it works from the inside out, is going to trump or to take power over that solidified pattern that you have as an expression of living your life, in this case in the morning, but I'm talking morning, afternoon, night, sleeping, the whole life experience. And so, it becomes very important to realize how flexible or how unflexible you are within that type of a scenario. And I know that we're having some sound problems there on the chat room, and I do hope that we're not having recording problems here. And if we are, then of course I extend my apologies to people. Okay, all right. Looks like some, it's actually been very, very difficult today to get onto the program. Firefox did some sort of weird thing, so my big computer doesn't work now, so that for me to get into the show and all of these things. And so it's been a real computer whack job. I'm on a different computer right now, and oh my gosh, and then Centaura couldn't get on, and I think the only one who really got on straight away was Rosemary. And that's because she's a Mother Superior. Anyway, so as the Kundalini comes into your life, you don't have to have a family to have your patterns, disrupted. You can be a single person, and you can be living, in your house, renting a room to another person. You can, however your life is unfolding, the Kundalini's presence within your life can begin to upset that pattern of existence that you've developed, and in many cases that you've worked hard to develop. And so it's very important for people to understand that they need flexible. They need to be willing to change. If you're a housewife and you're the one who gets up and you're the one who, cooks breakfast and gets everybody else up and does this whole bit, say the Kundalini comes to you and all of a sudden she's not allowing you to do that. Well, husband's going to have to step in. And you can imagine in some of the households here in the technological West, where the husband's going to say, wait a minute, this is not how things have been going. I'm not used to doing this. I don't know how to cook eggs like you know how to cook. I can't even cook a pancake. You've been doing this the whole time, and now all of a sudden, you're asking me to do this. So, there are going to be some changes with the Kundalini. And you don't want to use that as an excuse either. You don't want to go to husband and say, well, honey, I've got Kundalini, and so, I can't do this anymore, when you can't. The idea is to merge the Kundalini experience into the daily lifetime experiences. Now, I know that it's not going to be a smooth fit all of the time. I just heard voices coming out of now, not Kundalini voices. I could have swore I heard Centaura. I'm going to introduce Centaura. Centaura is the owner of this program. She pays through her material wealth in order for this program to survive. I'm going to bring her on the show now. Hey, you.
Hi, Chrism. I'm not speaking, though.
I swear I heard your voice. I don't know if it's a telepathic thing or not, but I did. I did hear you. So just thought I'd say, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you very, very much. The sound is fine. Vicky has...
How have you had to make adjustments in your family routine?
Chrism, I've had to make quite a few adjustments. Yeah, I'd say I had 4 of them living at home with me when Kundalini started after the awakening. And I had to make adjustments, Chrism, but also looking after the children during a time when my phenomena was fairly unknown to me. It was all very new. Before I understood about Kundalini, I have to say, having my children, and let's say the task or the task of being a mother, that actually kept me sort of sane
Grounded?
and yeah, grounded. That's the word, grounded, and able to cope with all that was going on for me. Um, I do actually, like in my situation, um, when Kundalini awakened and I began to understand what was going on, there was no change in that aspect. I wasn't given to leave. I wasn't, no, I had support from my husband, but I didn't find that I wasn't able to do things because of Kundalini. Kundalini was actually quite considerate in many ways with me. I remember the Kriya stage, that used to happen at night when all the children were in bed. That used to happen when my husband was on night duty. It was like actually done away from the family. It was quite incredible when I look back on it.
It's
Um,
very intelligent, a very intelligent force.
yeah. So for me, the Kundalini was extremely considerate around my family, which, and yeah, that was part of my process. So I was blessed that way. I didn't need to have huge changes made. I just needed to do what I needed to do when I was on my own, so and that's still the case very much so. Not so much now, but I'm I
Do
have
all your children
adapted.
know about your Kundalini?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I told my children about. Well, my children are adults now. Like my eldest guy is in his 30s. My eldest three are in their 30s. But I told them about Kundalini some years ago, and my youngest two are teenagers. So yes, they all know about my Kundalini. And they all have had, I'm going to say, I think I've spoken about this before, they've all had a connection with my Kundalini too, in that my Kundalini has demonstrated various things to them about its presence, through healing or through just other graces that Kundalini has given for them too, to be honest with you. So they're very much aware of my Kundalini, and they're aware of the safeties. They're aware of Chrism, of course, because they've met you. They're aware of you being my teacher. They're aware of, an awful lot about Kundalini now, the symbols around the house, because I would have started introducing that into our family life fairly early on in my process, once I had connected with you as my teacher, and that was all very, very helpful.
Were they aware of you going out in the middle of rainstorms and
No.
No?
No, they weren't living with me then. They had left, because that really was in the last, I suppose, 6 years. Was it? Yeah, about the last 6 years. So no, they weren't. Now they came to be aware of it because I can't remember the incidences particularly, but they did become more aware of it. Maybe they were down for a weekend, or maybe something was said by John in passing. I'm not too sure. But over time, yes, they would have become aware that that I would have done these things. Yes, they did. They did.
They just
Because, of
politely
course,
don't
they
say
had
anything.
questions, Say again?
They just
I
would
missed
politely not say anything. It's like, oh, mommy's out in the in the wind and the rain and visiting the
that. Well,
forest tonight at
Jonathan,
1 a.m.
well, Jonathan, my teenager, was aware of it, I have to say, aware of, not hugely aware of everything, but would have been aware that I had tasks that I was given to do, and that I was doing them. And the older ones as well would have had questions for me, ordinary, normal questions that anybody would have, that didn't have an experience of Kundalini themselves. I would have shown them all the DVD that you were involved with. I can't remember the title of it now. So I would have shown them that, and I would have told them some personal things, but I didn't share a huge amount about the phenomenon. I don't even know if they know about Kriyas, to be honest with you. I think Helena, now one of my daughters, would, but they all wouldn't, and they all wouldn't be aware of everything, you know. Even my husband wouldn't. I mean, that's part of the process, is very personal, and
well, some of the children would actually have symptoms, and I think some of them, more than one, were actually quite frightened of the whole idea, right?
Yeah, well, you see, you have to go back. There's so many aspects to it, because you came to Ireland in 2011 to do a seminar. And my daughter, my eldest daughter, was quite interested in the Kundalini, and she was having she had some phenomena, and she had that before I had ever spoken to her really about it. And she came to the seminar, but she was quite frightened. I mean, she really was, and she ran away from the seminar fairly quickly. And for some time after that, she was, you know, she had some fears. And that would all have been then how I would have communicated with her about that and spoken to her about different things. So she'd have learned more about Kundalini. And she would have asked me very pertinent questions, actually, about fear, about not knowing, about surrender. Excuse me, things such as that, you know. So, I mean, gradually, Chrism, over a period of time, they have all come into to knowing more about it. And it's interesting because they all have, as you said there, their own perspective. So one daughter, you know, that girl, Helena, she's much more aware now of it. And whereas my other daughter, Yvonne, is 2, but she doesn't particularly want to know much information, you know.
Right.
She does, you know.
And the other one?
Has really no interest at all. The reason that Yvonne has no interest is that that doesn't ask very much about it, is she's half concerned about herself, you know, and so she still has fear. And part of it is if I don't even consider it, well, then it's never going to happen. I know that that's part of what's going on for her. The third daughter, she just she doesn't contemplate it on any level at all.
She's actually quite afraid of it. And she doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, nothing to do with it. Yeah.
And I think it's very interesting.
But that said, very
for children. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, that said, each of them are very respectful of me and the things that I am doing and have done. You know, even when I was going to go back, I used to go and visit you, Chrism, through seminars that you've done and going to the ashram and that would all, and I would be gone for 3 or 4 weeks. And that would have all brought up stuff for them, you know. How come, Mom, you're doing that for so long? And they would have asked questions, and they would have asked questions about the teacher. And so all of those things I would have discussed with them. And they're all very okay with all of that. They know I do the blog show every Wednesday. Like, they don't ever phone me after 10 o'clock on a Wednesday because they know that blog, you know. So they're very respectful, really, and considerate of me, I feel.
I think that's a beautiful thing to have Kundalini in the presence of your children and to be able to organize your life in regards to a total surrender to the Kundalini, and to have them literally kind of be allowed to have the life that they want to have. Like Helena, she knows about it. You know, she still may be a little frightened of it, but she knows of it, and she's done some research on it, and the other kids, you know, they know about it, and some don't want anything to do with it, and others just really don't care one way or the other. And I think it's, you know, that's a very, very actually a real blessed way for people to introduce the Kundalini to their children. You know, children, as you know, require, I apologize for the phone ringing in the background, children often require a strong, repeated pattern of life management. When they're living with their parents, and that's how they learn to live by themselves. And when you have the Kundalini, that can really begin to forcibly open up areas of flexibility within the life of the family, the husband, the kids, and the person having it. Would you find that to be true?
Yes, Chrism, I would find that to be true, without a doubt. It's an integral part. It's an integral part, really, of our lives. Even though I would be the only one that has Kundalini as such. My husband certainly has been having symptoms, and my daughter Helena has as well. But Kundalini has also been very gentle with them. So it's an integral
it's
part
very gentle with them now, but I think that there's going to be a place where that level of just say gentleness is going to be changed slightly to a more active principle of Kundalini within both of them. It's not going to stay the same. You hardly ever see Kundalini staying the same. There's always some sort of a path that is ascending in some way, however steep the gradient may be. There's always some sort of a sine wave, where you have your ups and the downs, or you just have this continuously climbing path that, may be very easy, may not even notice the climb. And in other ways, the climb is so steep, you're crawling on your hands and knees just trying to get up. And I think that is something that is going to be developing for the two of them in your family for sure, and possibly some of the others as well. Good.
Actually, you're correct in that sense that I can see an incline. I do see an incline, and I see slightly, that the two of them in different ways go into sharper inclines. They're not always aware, I feel, of that as much. No, that sounds very pretentious, and I don't mean it that way, but they don't acknowledge sometimes because it's gentle, in inverted commas, when like John has gone through a couple of things that are Kundalini, but when it levels off again, he finds it difficult to act. Anyway, I shouldn't be talking about him and his process, really, should I? I apologize. But you're right. There is an incline. Yeah.
I mean, as we discussed on the program last week, with regards to this embedded entity within you that's been allowed by your Kundalini process to, in many ways, infect a certain level of brutality and strong negativity into your process without your permission. Imagine having that occur, without any other Kundalini experience happening to a person. How do you think Helena would respond to that?
Oh, Chrism, I just not very well. I do totally see what.
And that is definitely a part of your incline, the aggregate of your process. As you get more mature within your process, you're given more things to challenge you, and as you're given more things to challenge you, and you meet that challenge as you are doing, your Kundalini is sculpting you within a certain way, forcibly in your case. And it's not just you that has it, it just comes upon you and you have to respond. And you have to respond in a very specific way. A lot of people have that kind of thing thrown at them, and some of them are just left to flounder. Just left to flounder or to self-commit, or to commit suicide, which a fair number of them do. And so it is a constant level of inclination that the Kundalini will put you through, and that will have an effect on how you relate to your family members. Now, you've been going down to Cary lately with your youngest daughter, and how is it on the drive down there? Does that entity just quiet when you're with her, or is it actively, disrespecting people in your head?
No, with that particular daughter, very quiet. On the journey down, there's nothing much there's nothing good. There's a certain presence there all the time, so that so it's not directed at her though.
Right.
There's not stuff coming about her. But when I get into the car, every single time I get into the car, I mean, I began, it starts with, about people on the road. I could be a really, really nasty driver. It's actually, it's quite, and it's quite difficult and challenging. And yet, thanks be to God and you, Chrism, I do know how to respond. But I find the aggressiveness being pushed on me as a driver, and that would be easy for me to slip into.
Encouraging the road rage, right? Encouraging road rage.
Yes.
Hi. So
there were two incidences.
In contrast, you're becoming extremely kind and considerate driver, more so than you would have been otherwise, right?
Exactly. And you know me as a driver.
Oh my God. Oh, you're a Formula One driver.
So I am actually yes, I confess. I am, so yes, what you're saying is absolute, that's what's going on. And I'm driving within the speed limit, voluntarily now as well.
Okay, well, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
I think, and others should be aware of this. Now, having this type of a scenario come upon you, definitely has an effect on the family. But you'll notice it's not jumping into the family. And I think that it's good for people to understand that not necessarily will, a challenging entity hopscotch into another person within the family unit, right? This is for you. But if it was another Kundalini person, you were having a gathering there of Kundalini women from Europe, and everybody was planning on flying in, and being the mean and cruel, vicious teacher that I am, I said, I don't think you ought to meet up with those people because, one, they're not in your family unit, so they're not necessarily protected by that family scenario, and number two, it could open up fairly strong, severe levels of entity interaction for them within their equation that they may not be ready, as ready as you are or prepared as you are to work through, right?
Yeah, that's right. I had arranged, there was a festival on here, an Earth Fest, and I had put out, would anybody be interested? And there was a few Kundalini people flew in, and was really looking forward to it. But then this had begun after I had arranged it. And when I rang you, I had concerns, And the interesting thing was, because I've met quite a few Kundalini people who have had entities in Peru and in Berlin and in Washington and various places. And so on the one hand, I was thinking, it'll be fine. Sure, that's fine. That's okay. But on the other hand, from my Kundalini, I was, and as soon as I mentioned it to you, Chrism, and that they were coming and that this was happening, say, in 2 weeks. I think it was in about 2 weeks' time. They were due to come in. You said to me no. And the minute you said it, I mean, it totally resonated with me that you were correct. But it was very hard. It was very hard for me initially.
Well, it was an ego thing. I mean, your ego had been planning, and I'm not cutting you down with that.
I know.
You've been planning and you've been, working and, arranging schedules. And I think your husband had been looking at, different areas and, for people to explore and really, like he does. He's a really good guy. And he's very much interested in having this visit occur too. And was quite disappointed, when the evil teacher Chrism said, don't do that. Right.
Yes, he was. Because he had, I mean, this is part of the support that I'm talking about now.
He needs to know I'm well aware of my picture on the dartboard in his head.
Darn.
Especially when he hits that bullseye. I feel that.
You're kind of in the pocket of every pool table as well.
Anyway, so,
I'm only joking.
Just getting back. I mean, I really see that she's bringing this program into the experiences of people having Kundalini within a family unit, and how that can materialize, and how the specific behaviors within the family unit need to change, specific behaviors within the children, even though they do need that strong repeated platform of specific behaviors, specific timeliness. You go to bed at 10 or you go to bed at 9 or whatever it is, and you get up in the morning at such and such a time, and you get dressed, get ready to go to school, which would be the equivalent of work, when they're in their late teens, 20s, and 30s, right? And so they've been trained to get maybe their 7-8 hours of sleep, to do a specific level of routine personal maintenance, cleaning, getting dressed, eating food at specific timelines, and then going off and inserting themselves into society in some sort of a productive manner. Would you say I'm correct with that, Amelia?
Yes, of course, Chrism, yes.
And along comes Kundalini, disrupting that pattern. Okay. And along comes Kundalini, and all of a sudden one spouse has it, the other spouse doesn't. And what I've seen happen in my experiences counseling people like this, sometimes one spouse is jealous of the other spouse. Well, how come you get to have Kundalini? What makes you so special that you get to have Kundalini, but I have to do the dishes? You know what I mean? And if a relationship isn't grounded more in service to each other and service to the family as a whole, so rather than going into competition with each other, the people will go, okay, all right, so you've got this condition, all right, let's see what I can do to help you with this, and let's try to reconfigure the situation. I see that you and John have done that in a very, very admirable way. But I have seen other people go into divorce because they weren't able to find the deeper qualities of love and mutual appreciation that you and your husband have found, and so their family gets torn apart. And in other ways, I've seen the Kundalini literally refuse a marriage, refuse. As it comes up in the wife, we'll just say, all of a sudden she's being guided towards a destruction of that marriage by the Kundalini itself, because for some reason or other, that union is not serving the divine union, and the divine union will always be more important than the 5 cents egocentric conscious union in those levels. And it's really what I think she's underscoring here is the level of intimate surrender that a person needs to occupy and to allow themselves to be occupied by. This level of surrender, this level of I give myself to you, my Kundalini. I give myself to you. And if that's, and for most people in the West, it's a very, very difficult concept to bring into a level of fruition. And so she'll throw in a flesh teacher if there's one within that area that is available to that person. There's not that many of them that qualify for this type of work. And I'm not saying I'm so special, but it just seems to be the case the way I look out over the landscape, the internet landscape, and the written landscape of this technological West. There aren't people that are doing this level of surrender and ego work. I mean, I've had students tell me about the previous teachers they were having before they came to, Kundalini Awakening Systems, and it's like, they're some can give you some accurate information, is like they can at least identify the Kundalini, and that's a good thing. The other aspects, the internal aspects of the ego and the displacement of the ego, the retraining of the ego, and then of course, when you get into some very strong phenomena like kriyas or having entity interactions, they don't, they tend to slide more towards science than towards the truth of the situation, only because I don't think they have access personally to the truth. They have Kundalini to some degree, but not to the degree where they can help people within stronger levels of Kundalini infusion. And so, they find KAS, and sometimes we're able to work together. But there's a lot of disinformation out there, and very little of the ego work that's being done. The ego work that you're having to do right now, Centaur, is incredibly important, and people just aren't getting it. And when we were talking about your driving, well, when I first started driving with you in Ireland, it's a white knuckle affair. It's a level of, first of all, it's a different side of the road that I'm, used to. Number one. Number two, the roads are about as wide as your wrist, and so people are constantly stopping and slowly going around each other, and then going like 1,000 miles an hour around the next blind edge-covered turn. And it can be very nerve-wracking to a person who's used to driving in the United States, say, for instance. And you were quite adept at it. I mean, and I'd probably say you are quite adept at it. You knew the turns, and you knew how to take it. And you had that psychic sense that could put you forward into the road without harming, the person up ahead or the people in your car. And very, very good driver, very fast driver. Oh my God, just anyway. And so now, you've slowed down a little bit because of your reversing, some of the instructions that you're getting telepathically from this entity. You slow down, you're doing the speed limit, which I guess you'd slow down a lot. And you're far more considerate with the other drivers. And I think this is carrying over into other aspects of your life too. Perhaps you're taking more time with your clients as you do the massage therapy. You're taking more time with your clients, and you're taking more time with people in general. Would that be true?
That is true, Chrism. I'm finding, you see, I suppose from let's say from an ego perspective or a processing, I would have thought I was kind on the roads. I would leave people out from the early days, where you would have spoken about when somebody pulls out in front of you, and instead of kind of letting off a cuss, you sort of forgive and say go ahead, and all this. I would have been practicing that for a while, but it was very selective. Do you know what I mean, it was yeah.
Judgmental.
So yeah. So this is really, this is making it very, very different. But then again, you see, when you get horrible things coming into your head that aren't your own about what people are doing, and horrible words, well, that forces me. It really does, because I'm not going to go and follow that. It follows me. It forces me, because of the reversal, to do as you're saying. And now, it hasn't happened with my clients at all. There's been no intrusion whatsoever. And that's because I was concerned about that. But I'm doing my, the devotion as I've been doing. But I don't know why that is. Maybe the Kundalini isn't allowing it in that circumstance.
Right.
There is no intrusion.
What people need to understand, and it's harder for a person that's inside of that type of experience to understand, except a person, say, with your background, Santara, is that the Kundalini has ultimate control over all of this. She can cut that entity off mid-sentence and you'll never hear it again. But she can also allow it to do the work that it's doing, which is good work. It's good work because of the way you're handling it. It could be really nasty, bad work, and, you'd be on a chemical drug right now and probably drooling, off down the left side of your face, and, not too well, but with an Irish accent. And
Yeah,
having...
I could. Seriously, I mean, it's been extremely. I've had every.
That's
yeah,
happening.
no, I'm not laughing at all. I've got. I mean, I had an entity thingy before, Chrism, but it wasn't like this in this way. And to be honest with you, no, I kind of don't laugh, because I could see really how that could be the case, how you could go absolutely insane. On so many levels, just by the fact that it's going on and on and on and on and on, and you can't switch it off. And so if you started fighting with that, if I didn't have the teachings from you really, and I'm going to use the word strategies, or the ways to the reversal, the ways to, my mantra to my Kundalini, and the fact that I'm not engaging. And that's such, that can be hard sometimes, but because I know that, even when I go to that place, sometimes I pull back from it. It's hard to explain what I mean, but at least once or twice every week, I have a massive struggle. I'm on the verge of, I had one out during the week as well, where I'm on the verge. I feel I'm going to, I could easily see how a person could fall into this horrible place of torment, inner and outer aggression, just being, it's just horrible, Chrism. But thanks be to God and Kundalini, so far, I'm doing okay. I haven't gone there, but I can see how you
thanks to God and Kundalini, because, I mean, I know you're giving me credit for all these things, but really it's the Kundalini in me that has written anything pertaining to Kundalini, anything pertaining to strategies. It's the Kundalini that deserves all this credit, and the very fact that it's giving you this teacher that it has given certain strategies and certain levels of information to. It is truly thanks be to God and to Kundalini, not so much the container of flesh, but from its source to your source. This is what people need to understand, and the people that are coming into these ascension symptoms and with the communication vis-a-vis the internet for the last 20 years, I guess, 20, 30 years, people are able to reach out more. People are able to communicate more. And where there's reaching out and communication, there's also activation and awakening. And more, we're seeing this happen. And they're calling it different names like Ascension symptoms. It's kind of silly, but it also, it's also not as incorrect as one might think as well. I mean, there's always a great ego imperative behind, I want to ascend, I want to become, an angel or, in some way closer to the divine source within all of us. And if they want to call it ascension symptoms, well, I think that's fine because it's not that far from the truth. There is a level of ascending that is occurring. And so, that's all well and good, but it can be very, very difficult when people inside of these ascension scenarios don't understand some of the, shall we say, rules of the road, since we've been talking about driving. They don't understand some of the rules of the road. They don't understand, what side of the road do I drive on here? And, what do I listen to as far as instructions that come to me unbidden inside my own head? And, these things of that nature. There's some general knowledge like do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And revenge, eye for an eye just leaves the world with two blind eyes and, things of that nature. I mean, we have in our society certain levels of instruction and information that can help us to find our way on this really steep spiritual path, this ascending path, but it's not common to everyone. And let's talk about the atheists who aren't reading the Bible, aren't reading an eye for an eye, and they just kind of have to go intuitively with what they know is correct. And if you have some demon screaming in your head, cut that guy off, cut that guy off, cut that guy off, or steal that wallet. Look at all the money in that wallet. Come on. You're starving. You're hungry. Come on, steal it. When you're having that type of really, really negative programming forced upon you, it can be very easy for people to slip up and make the wrong choice and have to pay harshly for making that wrong choice, especially when you're driving. So all of you that have the Kundalini and you're behind the wheel, I know we have some truck drivers who come on board. We have, various people coming on board that are behind the wheel quite often. Just remember to be very, very kind. Really, really, even if you don't have that entity inside your head telling you to do bad things, now is the time to program yourself to go out of your way, above and beyond the levels of kindness that you even up to this day in your life are expressing into the world. You must increase your levels of kindness and consideration and tolerance, patience and love and assistance and service for other people. You must do this because as you come in to these levels of Kundalini, also known as Ascension symptoms, as you come into these levels, ability is increasing, and the responsibility really is to bring the levels of kindness as the main location of expression that you make into the world of humanity, but also the environment as well. The dogs, the cats, the alligators, the snakes, the spiders, the worms, the paramecium, all of the different creations of life. You must extend that grace into these areas on a consistent and constant level. You must get out of the childhood of the ego as it, goes out of its way to assuage its desires, to assuage its needs, its wants, its patterns of immature me first psychology. You must go out of your way to change this. Don't always get that candy bar. Don't always get that pie or that cake or that, whatever it is. I mean, really, I know it sounds frivolous right now, but this is where your ego retraining can begin. Don't have that extra large piece of cake. Don't have the things that you know that your ego wants because they taste good. Deny yourself some of these things. And know what it is you're doing as you deny yourself that desire. Teach your kids to deny themselves. As you're having the Kundalini and you're having a family at the same time, where you're given a perfect opportunity to train your kids in a higher level of understanding, higher levels of not eating so much sugar, higher levels of forgiveness, higher levels of tolerance, higher levels of inner energetic maintenance and inner energetic cleanliness and hygiene, teaching them that their thoughts can manifest to the physical expression, teaching them how to be forgiving and how to have gratitude, and even how to have devotion. Now I'm going to come back here to Santara. Santara.
Yes, Chrism?
Tell me how much devotion plays into this.
The end of your sentence, can you say again? Tell you how much
devotion plays into this.
Oh, devotion is crucial. It's the cornerstone, really. Devotion is like it's the anchor. I mean, without devotion is a surrendering and is a giving, and is part of my process that if I didn't have it, I just don't know. I just don't know, Chrism. Like, devotion is crucial. It is a way as well that...
What is devotion? What do you do when you're giving devotion?
Well, you can give devotion in all kinds of ways, in different manners and different ways. So I give devotion to the Kundalini by giving devotion to my teacher. That's one way, the physical teacher.
How do you give devotion to your teacher?
I can do it.
Give the mechanics of it. Give people the mechanics of it. They want the nuts and bolts. They want to know how to change the tire, not just call the service.
Okay, so with my teacher, I would begin by being in a prayerful position. So I might be kneeling, I might be sitting, but typically I would be kneeling. I would have my own mantra to the Kundalini and to my teacher that I would say. So I would say this mantra, and that brings me into a place that begins to grow my devotion in that particular moment.
Are you just saying it to the air? Are you just looking at the empty space and saying it there? How are you doing it?
Okay, so I am saying it to my teacher either on Skype, in person if I happen to be with you. I used to do a Tritaka with your photograph. So I would do that form of devotion in those three ways, with the photograph on Skype, 1-to-1, or in person. So I am saying my mantra.
How often do they do that?
How often do they? Do you mean how often do I?
Well, using yourself as an example, how often?
Well, again, that depends. At this particular moment, I would do. I would have a Skype session with you once a week, but every day I would do devotion on my own here at home, in the same way, but not in.
To a picture.
Yes, not every day. No, I would use a picture, but I don't use a picture every day now. I used to before, but I don't, in inverted commas, need a picture as much now.
Why? Why is that?
because I come into that presence, your presence and the Kundalini presence immediately. I mean, you know.
Yeah, over time you
So
develop that.
Yeah,
So
but initially, no, I would have used a picture all the time. And there would have been times early on in my.
Have you ever used a statue or a painting of Shakti or a wooden carving or anything like that?
No, but I have used nature. When I've been in nature, I have also. So that would have been enough. So I was going to explain about other ways. I have been in devotion to the Kundalini in nature, by a tree, with the tree, on the grass, on the ground. And I am giving, in a way, my devotion, will say, to the earth, but it's to the Shakti or a tree, or sometimes, just looking at a beautiful scene. Like for me, looking at the ocean, I can go into instant devotion to the Kundalini and surrender.
How about the bog? Did you ever give devotion to the bog?
And not so much, actually, Chrism, to the bog. No, I must say, but in the vicinity of the bog.
Well, the
not
bog is
actually.
The bog is such a consciousness of its own. There, that's amazing. I think stuff comes out of that bog. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it does. No, I haven't done that actually. No, but as well, the stars in the sky when there's no night pollution, and also, when you begin this practice, in my experience anyway, it can be awkward to begin with, and a lot of it depends as well on, your conditioning of what devotion is, or what adoration is, or what worship is. And so,
what, in your experience, what is the difference between devotion and adoration?
Chrism, that's not what
I know. I'm getting into these intensely personal areas. I understand.
And
well, I'll tell
just
you.
That people.
I'll tell
yeah,
you the
thank
difference.
you.
The difference between devotion is the level of the gift of your love, the level of the surrender of your totality. Adoration is literally the gift of yourself in a complete and total way, whereas devotion, you're giving your love, you're giving your respect, you're giving yourself as well. It's just that adoration is a step up from that. Adoration can put you into almost like a somnambulistic active state. So it's like when a person is sleepwalking, except they're sleepwalking more along the lines of love walking, or love giving themselves in such a complete way that there is nothing left for them to even want to consider. They're so egoless, they're so determined, they are so focused on the gift of themselves in service, in love, in total surrender to that teacher or the Kundalini, that there is literally nothing else. And you actually come out of that. It becomes such a state of almost perpetual ecstatic expression that it requires a level of coming out of. When it stops, you come out of that, and you're like, oh wow, whoa, and you're feeling the severe drop in the from the height of that. There's the drop coming back down to say your mortal place, can be a very strong drop, and you have to learn how to land, and you have to learn how to take a deep breath and go, oh wow, that was so good, and just kind of go on with your life. But it will change the expression of your life as well in a very strong way. Have you experienced it like this, Amelia?
Yes, Chrism. The return to normality and the leaving of where. Yes, I have. But and it's very hard to put words on that, and how that happens, and yeah, it's yeah. Um, but for people who might have an interest or a curiosity or in it, you know, it's really, if I could just say, it is something I am so thankful for. The Kundalini guided me in some respects of, you know, you can experience spontaneous devotion to the Kundalini, where a person, you know, well, for me, where you could fall on your feet in just absolute gratitude for something in the moment. That has probably happened to a lot of people, you know, where you're filled with love to the point that everything is love, you know. You look at a scene, you look at the grass, and yeah. And that is, if that has happened to you in your experience, you know, that's touching into devotion. That's gratitude. That can be, you can do devotion from that, you know. If you've had that experience, well then also, I would see that as...
It's like you reach into areas of rapture as well. Mm-hmm. And, you know, rapture becomes, I think, you know, in the English language, rapture becomes like the next step beyond adoration. And the rapturous state, you know, is literally beyond words, except that when you're there, it's like you're beyond movement, you're in the physical, but you're beyond the physical. You might be rocking slowly, but your eyes are typically way up, and you're here, but you're not here. You're there, but you're not there. You're in this level of love and extreme, you know, it's like devotion times 1,000. It's like such extreme levels of love that are also, you know, begun, you might say, with the adoration, and you go into rapture. And it's not like the Christian rapture. It's not that way. It's more along the word enraptured, enraptured, enraptured. And you are, if you've ever seen somebody in rapt attention, their focus is anywhere else. They're, you know, they may not even be moving. They're just so taken in by what they're experiencing. Well, with rapture, within the context of what we're talking about, you know, rapture, you know, goes right, you know, maybe even, you know, it's hard to put words and measurement to it, but, you know, perhaps a step further than adoration, although those two could be, you know, imagine a sine wave between rapture and adoration. Wow. You know, going back and forth between the two. Pretty strong stuff. But good. I'm glad. Thank you for giving us your experiences along these lines, Centaura. Very, very valuable for people to hear it from someone else, not me. Very important. It's one thing to hear it from the same guy over and over and over, and it's like, oh yeah, well, he can do that, but he's got the Kundalini, and I'm just starting here, and I want to hear it from somebody who's a little closer to where I am in the process. And even though they're nowhere near where you are in the process, Amelia, but some of them, you know, the information you've given today is extremely valuable. And I'm going to suggest that people listen to this program. And I want to thank you for giving that information. Now, we have a lot of callers on hold there. Have you seen that?
I'm seeing that here. I recognize one or two. I will go and check those, Chrism, okay?
And I want to give this opportunity to give gratitude to the Kundalini for allowing this program and allowing myself and Centaura and Rosemary and the other people that have consistently given into this program their experiences and their feelings and their questions and things of that nature. And I really want to also acknowledge, folks like Atlantis Seeker and the other people that have consistently called into this show and have joined the chat room and everybody who's in the chat room right now as well. It's your presence is felt. With Kundalini people, we can feel specific frequencies of specific individuals that have the Kundalini there, and it's even in the words that you give yourself, like Atlantis Seeker, or even in your word itself, like Vicky Vaughn or Sue Homer, or any of the people that we have call into the show or to come into the chat room. You can feel the resonant quality of a person. Yes, ma'am. I see. Okay, we've got a caller. Area code 780. Hello.
Hi, how are you, Chrism?
Hi, I'm doing well. Hi, Kayla. What's going on?
Hi. I was just wondering about the Kundalini process. Like, if you've already had a spinal sweep, how does it go from there? Like where am I at? Like, I'm kind
from
of
the spinal sweep. Well, from the spinal sweep, there's a whole level of learning that needs to occur. And this is where you really begin to insert the levels of kindness, of caring, of a lack of fear of the unknown. And this is what the activation stage should have really inserted itself into you. This is why the activation stage is so very important, is because it gives a person the ability to engender very specific levels of thought control and thought patterns and emotional control and emotional patterns into their lifetime before the spinal sweep occurs and you're bonded into the divine union. I'm going to suggest you're still going through, based on your questions, you're still going through a stage of the activation where you're learning different behavioral. But even after a spinal sweep, people will have to learn different behaviorals. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, because it was pretty much a sudden onset for me, like less than 2 months, and it activated. So.
Right. Well, it activated, and so I would suggest that you're still in the activation stage. Now, you're also in the Shakti pot too, and so the Shakti pot is also pushing you harder and faster, and that also is going to have a level of perhaps discomfort for you if you're not able to come up to speed with what the safeties are suggesting that you do, like forgiving, like having gratitude, having patience, taking the time to meditate and to pray and to do the energetic maintenance that you'll need to do, and to give yourself to the Kundalini. Totally surrender yourself beyond what you even can understand surrendering is. Go into the devotion as Amelia so very well described, and really begin to give yourself in ways that open the channels within you to receive that grace in a way that allows you to digest it slowly and thoroughly, and yet, serenely.
I noticed that the all those things you're talking about kind of came with the Kundalini. Like, she pushes me to understand, to see in a different level than I used to see, with my children, with my husband, with my friends and people around me. It just changed. The way I look at the world changed.
But she will change them. She will change them. A Kundalini awakening person is an incredibly important person on this world. And I know, I hear it all the time. Oh, Chrism, everybody's important. Everybody's a child of God. Everybody's important. Don't compete people against each other and all this stuff. And I'm not. What I'm saying is that Kundalini is an extreme evolutionary point of consciousness in the flesh body on this world. Everybody's going to get it.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to get there, just not at the same time. It's not like the Christians like to think, we're all going to be enraptured by Jesus. We're all going to go up to somewhere at the same time. It's not that way.
Yeah.
But we will eventually come into the Kundalini. Go ahead. You were asking a question.
Sorry. Just one more thing, Chrism. I noticed that I'm so physically tired. My body, I go to bed. I can't even stay up past 7 o'clock. Mind you, I'm awake at 3 a.m.
Well, yeah, that's the golden hour, my dear. She'll wake you up at 3 a.m. So she'll force you to go to sleep at 7. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. I just didn't know if it was okay, normal, if that was what I was supposed to be.
Well, I know
feeling.
that none of the kids are going to be awake at 3 a.m., and you're going to need that time to do your practice.
To meditate. Yeah, to meditate. Okay,
that's
thank
part
you,
of your
Chrism.
practice. You're welcome, Kayla. Enjoy the Shakti pot.
I am.
Okay. I hope you're wearing red today.
Thank you. I was until I got messy, but I was wearing red.
You was? You better put that red back on.
Okay, I will.
That's an all-day affair. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. Okay, and so there we are. We're touching on a little bit of that here. Now let's see. I'm looking to see if we have any more questions. Just bear with me here. It's hard to tell when they expand it that way. So to Josh Street. Okay. That was Santara. Sorry, Santara. I'm going to put you back in the blue here. I'm going to go to Hal, I guess. Just a second. Probably everybody hearing me click. Hello, Tejal or Tahal?
Yes, it's Tejal. Yes, this is Tejal. How are you?
Tejal. Hey, good. Good to meet you, Tejal. Thanks for calling in. How may I assist you?
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you. My Kundalini awakened in December. I was doing one of the Kundalini awakening videos from Osho. I don't know if you're aware of him. He's from India. And just by doing that step by step, it just awakened. And I went through kind of a hell for past 4 or 5 months physically.
Yep,
it was earth shattering. I couldn't explain what was going on, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and I kept practicing, and it took me to a point where I got really, really scared. It was like everything is kind of in another dimension. I didn't like being around people. I needed so much of my quiet time. Now I'm a single mom with 2 kids. I work full time, and it really became very hard for me. I mean, I would be driving my Kunalini be awake. I would be at work and calls, and my eyes will start running tears. It goes on, and I was completely shocked, and I wasn't able to handle it. I kind of cut down on how many times I meditate. My physical symptoms have gone down tremendously. But I'm not sure where. The question is where is this leading me? And
Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, he had his own challenges with life and with material objectivity and with the fulfillment of desires. Now, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh is also the person that his name was changed to Osho.
Correct.
And I'm not going to take anything away from Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. I think he had some very, very, very profound things to say. And I think that, he was very powerful in many different ways, but that power was counterbalanced by levels of acquisition of material objectivity and sensate requirement. He had a relationship with nitrous oxide and things of that nature. And so if you are watching a meditation given by this man, then there are levels of signature that you are also co-opting into your experience. But I think a lot of people are having, fairly positive experiences by using Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh's techniques. I'm not quite familiar with what meditation of his he did. I think, I think it's very important that be delineated. But regardless, you've got the Kundalini now, and you're going to have to start making these adjustments now, and it is going to impugn upon your day-to-day life. And what I'm hearing from you right now is kind of the normal life expressive person complaining that the Kundalini is doing this and it's doing that, and it's interrupting my life here, it's interrupting my expectations there, and I've got 3 kids, and I'm working, and doesn't it understand that I've got 3 kids and I'm working? And of course it does. It does, but it's not the Kundalini that's going to need to change here. It's you that's going to need to change. And it's you that's going to make the sacrifice, and it's you that's going to completely surrender herself to the Kundalini. And it is you that is going to set that example for your kids. Okay. It's very important for you to realize that Kundalini is the expression of the divine upon this world. It's not a political figure, although it influences political figures. It is the hand of God literally on your shoulder, but not just on your shoulder, it's inside your shoulder.
Right.
Just that touch is enough to completely disrupt the comfortable life expression and the complacency that you have struggled so hard to build and to survive with in this world. Now you have the Kundalini, and now it has been determined by divine grace that you are open to change, whether or not your ego accepts it.
No, I accept it. I really feel that I am really blessed, and these are really blessings from the divine and the universe. I really acknowledge that. And because when you tell people, they're like, they have no way to relate to me because they have never been through this. And so I really appreciate it. I'm really blessed. I feel blessed. It's just that
there can be no really, it's just that. There is no it's just that. Okay, the blessings do not have a but to the end of it, or it's just that, it's doing this, and that to me. The blessing is so severe that it supersedes the discomforts that we have to go through in order to find our balance within such severe grace.
Right.
What I would do for you is I would practice the safety protocols. I would suggest that you go to let me give you this website here.
You send me an email, so I have your safety protocols. I read them through.
Well, then practice them. Practice those protocols. Practice them every day, and let the behaviorals be practiced all the time. The forgiveness, the gratitude, the tolerance, the patience, the extreme honesty and truth. And you'll find that your life parameters will be redefined in such a way that the appreciation of your life will increase, and the organization of your life will be streamlined in such a way that it will not get in the way of the way you raise your kids, but it will begin to change you from the inside out, and that is the great work. That is the great work that is going to occur and is currently right now occurring within you.
Oh, right. So I agree with you that it has started changing me, how I see this world, how I see my life, or how I want to progress this life in the future. And
how you want to progress. I mean, can you see how you're phrasing your words? It's about how I want to do this and how I want to change my life. No. It's about how grace is going to change your life and how you're going to surrender to that change. This is ego work. This is a redefinition of your identity. Okay?
Right, because what concerns me that the rate that I am going on this path is very fast for me. And my only concern is my kids are young. I still have to put them through school and this and that. And in order for that, if you wish me what is my desire, I simply want to meditate. It's so hard for me to get out of my meditation room. I just want to sit there and meditate. But then life calls me. Right.
That's called discipline. Serve these kids. That's part of your path as well.
Correct. So that's what I was trying to ask you is like one side is pulling me on one direction and the other, my practical, my responsibility, my duties are pulling me in the other way. You know?
No, actually, I don't think so. I think that your enjoyment of your practice may feel like it's pulling you one way. But I think that if you initiate stronger levels of self-discipline with the understanding that the Sacred Mother knows exactly what is happening to you and what is going on with you, and that as soon as you send those kids off to school and you have to go to work, then maybe like Kayla, you'll be going to bed at 7 or 8 in the evening, getting up at 3, doing your meditation then, and then redefining the timelines of your daily life to incorporate your practice.
So that has already started happening. It already wakes me up at 4 o'clock. If I don't wake up, it will come 5, and I must go to my meditation. There's no way I can be in my bed. It will really send me signals in the middle of my on my third eye, and I have no control. I simply have to get up and go there, period. So that
I would
has started.
suggest that you set your alarm if you need to. Set your alarm for 2:50 a.m. and get up by 3. Do your work during the golden hour.
Okay.
That's the golden hour. That's why Kundalini wakes people up at 3 a.m. and that's why I give my Shakti Path at 3 a.m.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you so much for the insight, and it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Very welcome. It's a pleasure to speak with you as well. And I understand that we have a question from Indra, so we'll bring Indra on board here. Hello, Indra.
Hi, Chrism. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And yourself?
I am good. I couldn't be better. You were talking about. Pardon me?
How may I assist you today?
Well, you were talking about Kundalini and, the destructive process. And I just wanted to add to that before I move on to my question. I find for me, I had to have a certain type of setup. It was hard. It's hard. So what I did was I set up my home that reflected love. Like I had roses throughout the house, flowers. I had cedar, like it's in my backyard. I would cut the branch, bring it in. I had pine cones. I had the mantra going, candles going. And I feel that I had to do that to be able to go through what I am going through. And I had to prepare my space, declutter, and, be free in what I was going through and doing.
I agree. I think that's a very, very good setup for sure. Not everybody has the money to go out and buy cut flowers and to buy candles. And
I'll tell you, I did trade shopping for other things. I did kind of compromise a bit, for like shopping for clothes or makeup, purse, whatever. But
sure.
There's a lot of natural things. Like I would cut the branch, the cedar. I have cedar in the backyard, and I would cut a branch and bring it in, and just decorate with that. And the pine cones,
Oh,
on my
absolutely.
walk route, I picked up all the pine cones.
You're up there in Canada where all those trees are. So very nice, very nicely done. Nicely done.
So my space had to be.
I think that's a good suggestion for both Kayla and Teja, is to really kind of decorate the house, decorate their little, if
very
they have
cheap.
a little room or something like that. And I know
even plants, like if there's a lot of sunlight, like I have jasmine, I have like a lavender. I have very good sunlight coming through my windows, so I had plants by my windows, and I think that it helps.
It does indeed. And thank you for that. That's a great suggestion. Is to if you can change your living space into a more inviting space, a more sacred space, really.
Yes.
For Kundalini around you, I think that can be a very helpful quality.
Yep. All right. So my question is, I had shared with the group my heart chakra seems to be opened up fully. I had that week of turning, spinning like crazy. I thought I was going into cardiac arrest. But I knew it was my chakra because I could, feel it spinning out of my chest. And I waited out, and about a week later, I woke up from this. I woke up into this state of love, but it was still am. It's like a love. It's my energy changed. It feels like an energy. It feels like a lilac energy, if you know what I mean. It's soft.
Sure.
It's soft. It's not like for the last 3 years, no energy is not towering me. Feels like a soft, beautiful energy. It's changed for me.
It sounds very beautiful for you.
It's so beautiful, Chrism. I cry every single day. I can't believe this. I really don't know. Words, there isn't words. It feels like lilac.
But the nice thing is you can represent that energy as you go out into the populations, and you can bring that quality of grace with you to give to others.
Okay.
You can visit that convalescent hospital. You can walk down those corridors, those stinky, medically smelling corridors, and you can visit those people that are. You can bring that grace with you to them and to give to them in such a way. A huge blessing. We have so many blessings that we can give to others that are free to do. You don't have to pay a dime. Just show up and walk and talk and, be there.
Yeah.
Radiate yourself there. You are that gift of lilac grace.
Yes. It feels like it, honestly. I meditated for the last 3 years. I meditated under a lilac tree. So the thing is, I would meditate. I would sit under there and meditate. So eventually I started to feel the energy from the lilac tree. And then I could tell the difference between the lilac tree and the pine cone tree. And the lilac, the energy under there is just divine. And
Right.
I can equate this feeling of love with that lilac energy, and it's soft and it's beautiful and it's warm.
Yes, I've had the lilac perfume experience with the Kundalini. Where there is no lilac anywhere to be found, and yet there the scent is all around you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Krishna kind of brings that too. There's one of the Hindu gods, Krishna. I think when he shows up, the smell of lilac may permeate the air. I'm just kind of getting that right now.
Okay. So,
But,
Chrism, where do I go? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you have a question that I can help you with?
Well, I just want to know that what's next? Like, where is it? My energy changed a lot. It changed. It's drastically. It's not towering.
I think you should try devotion. I think you should really go into devotion now. I think you should maybe listen to this program again and listen to what Amelia said about devotion, and then really, really give yourself completely, Indra. Give yourself completely to the Kundalini level of devotion.
Okay.
Go to the
I will. I heard her. I was listening. I heard her.
Yeah. Well, go to the convalescent homes too, and give that love to complete strangers.
Okay. Okay.
God does this, and God is within you, and divinity is expressing through you.
Okay.
Just let it be a meditation. Give of your love to these people.
Okay. Okay, I will arrange that.
Now, Indra, it's a big step. And I don't want you to feel bad if you're feeling, that it's too hard for you at first. But just give it a
No, because I already started to do it. Okay. I was doing the devotion. I feel like I was called. I would meditate for 2 hours, devotional. I would sing hallelujah and go into this deep meditation. Nice. And just get into it and then repeat hallelujah till I feel that it was enough. I would have it on repeat. I went into a nursing home. My sister is a nurse. Because
perfect.
you suggested it to me before.
Okay.
And I did go into a nursing home, so it's not like it's shocking. I feel a readiness. I do. I feel a readiness.
I want everybody that has the Kundalini that's listening to this program, talking to you people in the archives and you people that are listening right now. You listen to Indra, and you listen to that instruction and emulate that instruction for yourself. Give that very same instruction to yourself. The convalescent hospitals are loaded with people that are really, really suffering a very, very difficult stage of life.
Yes.
That's
I agree.
The end of life scenario.
Yes.
And I think it's very important that they receive the support and the kindness and the love that Kundalini people can give.
Yes.
So there you have it.
So I'm already feeling that within myself, and the neighborhood children, like I'm cooking for them, I'm feeding them, I'm like helping babysit. Like I get home, I work with the school board, so I get home like 3:34. So I do have that time, and when I'm finished doing my stuff like grounding and all that stuff, I do.
Twice a week. I mean, you'll make some new friends too, some really cool new friends.
I need that.
And you might meet some Kundalini angels along the way too. A lot of those people in the homes are really not quite what you think they are.
No.
I mean, angelics exist on this world, and they do disguise themselves in certain ways.
Wow.
So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you visit one because of your kindness and your acts of grace. It's kind of like that equation, the alchemical equation that like attracts.
Yes.
So think about that.
Yep. So, Chris, what do you think is going on with the process? Is it?
With what?
My whole process. Is it
I
coming
think
to
your
an?
process is great, Andrew. I think
Pardon
your
me?
process is moving right along. It's going great. I think the move into devotion will be very helpful for you, and I'm going to suggest you go into devotion right before you visit the people in the convalescent home. Go into devotion, sit there in your car, go into extreme devotion to the point of tears, then wipe your tears off and start visiting those people.
Okay.
That's a real
so
there, let me tell you.
I will let you know how that went.
I'm sorry, say again?
I will keep you updated on how that went.
Please do. Please do. And know that when you walk down those hallways, you leave Kundalini plasma trails, especially after devotion. And they never go away. People are constantly partaking of the grace that you leave as you walk down those halls, just your feet on the floor and the hands on the doors, the elevator button, the restroom you may use is forever imprinted with a level of Kundalini grace that never leaves.
Really? It stays there?
Stays there. It doesn't dissipate. Until that.
Oh my God, that's so powerful.
That toilet turns to dust, it will still have that Kundalini radiance upon it.
Oh, that is so good to know.
Yeah, divinity has no timeline. It's not like a battery.
And it's energy that doesn't leave.
It doesn't ever dissipate. It is just as strong as the day that that it infused that object.
Wow. That's good to know.
Yeah, so make sure your intentions are totally, totally loving and helpful and surrendered and benevolent, reflective of the lilac bliss that you may be getting. And you really do the devotion. Sit out there in the parking lot a little bit. Do the devotion there. And make your entrance, the entrance of Goddess upon that establishment.
Okay. Wow.
Keep us apprised of how that goes.
I will, and I will keep you updated too.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh,
okay,
you're very, very welcome.
I hope I meet you one day, and I'm able to give you a big hug, and actually see the man who helped me, and give you a big hug, and tell you thank you in person.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you very much. And you can thank me by visiting those people.
I will take pictures for you.
Thank you, my dear.
I am a person of my word, and I will go. I have done it, but not a whole lot. Like my sister is a nurse, right? So I would sometimes, like when I'm home, I'll take her lunch. Like I'll cook and take her lunch, and I would walk because you had suggested it to me before. So what I would do is just walk through them, but I would pray. I would be praying in the hallways, right?
Right.
So I have done not a whole lot, but I have done some. And when I go next time, I'll take pictures for you.
Please do, and I'll post them on the groups.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you very much, and I'm going to continue to listen to the show.
Thank you, Indra. Thank you for your question and your experiences, and for what you're going to do for these people in the Toronto area of Canada. And I'm going to go ahead and come on up and bring Rosemary online. I believe Rosemary has an announcement she'd like.
Yes.
Hi, Rosemary.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you, Chrism. Thank you. And all of you who have been speaking on the program this afternoon, just amazing and inspiring. Thank you. Thank you. And we invite anyone listening and everyone listening and anyone who wants to develop and to awaken or to activate their Kundalini, we invite you to attend our seminar with Chrism here in Minnesota. It will be October 28th and 29th, and it will be in Mankato. We have the location. It is at the American Hotel and Conference Center, 240 Stadium Road in Mankato. It's right there on the edge of the University of Minnesota campus. And we have rooms available. The number there is 507-345-8011 to register there if you want a room and you're coming into town. And my email address is rosemarygat.usinternet.com. And my phone number is 952-303-6438. And I welcome conversation anytime about the value of the seminar and how it was, for me, the beginning of with an activation of my Kundalini, which is strong in my everyday, ordinary life with all that I do. And I don't mean that like it sounds, but I mean my life's work is bringing Chrism to the cities here, and as well at our monthly meetings with our people from the seminar who are part of the Kundalini community here in town. And Chrism, I want to thank you for that. Always, it fills my heart with gratitude, and your availability as well when we're doing expos this time of year and talking about the seminar. So, a great privilege for me.
And the thanks to you too, you and Joey and Katie, for going out and opening those doors and meeting the people and filling them with your grace and with your understandings. I mean, it's a superb work that you're doing, and it is much appreciated. I know you know that it is much appreciated, and it needs to be said. So thank you for that announcement. I guess that's pretty close to Halloween. Will we be dunking for apples too?
I don't know. We're not going to be doing scary things. You know, we're not going.
Is it a costume? Is it a costume Kundalini seminar?
No, but we all come in with costumes. We think that's the real us, but it's not.
Very true. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, and thank you, Joey and Katie, as well.
Yes, thank you.
And coming back to Santara here, I think there we go. And Santara, do you have any announcements that should be made from your end?
Yes, indeed, Chrism. The first announcement is to follow with Rosemary's announcement of a seminar. If you're living in Europe, you're very welcome to come to the seminar in Berlin. Saturday and Sunday, 16th and 17th of September. And you can contact Manisha. She's the lady that's organizing the seminar. So Manisha has an email address. It's maneesha@posteo, posteo.de. You can also find Manisha on Facebook, or you can also go to Kundalini Seminars and Events with Chrism. That's a Facebook page, and you'll get information there as well. And the other announcement is if anybody would like to make a donation, you'd be very welcome to do so. You can go to one of two sites. You can go to www.kundalinisafeties.com, or you can go to www.chrism-kundalini.blogspot.com, and all donations are gratefully received. And I make this announcement every week because it is something that, I like to do, because donations are really essential, and Chrism doesn't really ask for them. And so I like to do this every week, because if you're in a position to donate, I really would invite you to do so, and it will be greatly appreciated and put to great use. Chrism, you actually have somebody else there, Zubir from the group. He's a new member on Kundalini Awakening. He's Zubir on the group, and he has a question for you. Will I now?
Go ahead. Put them on, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Putting Zubir on. Hello, Zubir.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Hi, Zubir. How are you?
Good, thank you. And you, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
My question is, I had an awakening that I can recall physically, mentally, with all the sense opening about 3 years ago. And I didn't know what it was happening actually to myself, and I embraced it, had fun with it. I explored the whole thing without knowing what it was, and I was able to figure out last year, at the end of the year, exactly what it was through a friend, and then I knew that it was Kundalini energy. So it was the most beautiful thing that ever happened to me, actually, because it told me to a total different path of this reality and showed me so much, taught me so much, and I was like reborn, actually. So it was wonderful. But the way it happened, actually, was I went to a lecture on entheogens, on magic mushrooms. And it was a fascinating lecture by a man that has been working on that for years and years and years. So, but my intention was just to be part of the group and listen and learn new things, not really trying it, And during 6 months, I had repeating dreams about how to face the magic mushrooms if I was going to try it, because behind my brain, I was interested in trying them. But it took me 6 months because I was a little coward of trying them. So after 6 months, I tried them, and I had this rush of energy going through all my body. I was on a path. It was light blue, beautiful, very bright. And there was other identity around, very scary. But I knew exactly how to do it because of my dreams. And it was just opening my heart, sharing love, and beautiful energy. That's all it was about. And everything was just always vanishing away when it was negative. But I had the most profound and beautiful journey ever that first time, actually as well as the other ones. But it took me to a total different world. And my consciousness kind of totally went through my brain. It was just amazing. So at the end of the journey, I thought it was just mushrooms, I thought that's what it was. So I journey every time. I take mushrooms every month, once a month. I make a ritual and very grateful and very looking for this journey. And I've been meeting the most beautiful being. So many beautiful things over there. But I remember the first time when I was there, it's almost like I was home. I knew this place. I felt so home over there. And every time I go, it's the same thing. And I will feel that energy coming through me, opening. I learn about chakra, and things about chakra. And every time a chakra will pump out and open in my body, a being will come and tell me, or a man or female. It was mostly female, actually. And they will come and they will talk to me, and they will tell me what they will do working on me. One day it was about the heart, one day it was about any kind of chakra. That's how I learned about chakra. It's fascinating. But I've never heard during my journey that was Kundalini, whatever was happening, until my friend told me exactly what it was. So I do that every month. I have this most amazing journey and come back. It's like I'm going to a special spiritual camp where I learn so much, Make me a stronger person, a better person, a more profound person. The whole thing was just amazing. So my question is, how can we awake the Kundalini without taking any plant?
Without taking any mushrooms?
Yes, without taking any mushrooms or anything. It's just a way to meditate and awake the Kundalini.
You can do the safety protocols. Those are self-activating. So that can place you into an activation, and it will be very much along the same lines as what you're doing, except it will be without the entheogenic hallucinatory, which I don't really agree with the word hallucination. I think that when you take the entheogen like ayahuasca or some of the mushrooms, your vision is broadened and it's changed in such a way that you can see and understand, or not, maybe not understand, but you can certainly visually see more of what is around you than when you're not taking the entheogen. But as far as activating the Kundalini, there's very different ways. You can take the Shakti pod, you can do the safeties. which those two, at least from what I give, go together. You can really have a trauma-based activation through severe heartbreak can activate the Kundalini, or severe grief can activate the Kundalini. Physical trauma, like if you're in a sporting accident or a car accident or things of that nature, they can also activate the Kundalini. So there's many different ways, really, to activate the Kundalini, and that's not the hard part. Activating Kundalini, if you read any of the ancient teachers, let's say that's the easy part. Living with the Kundalini is the hard part.
I think I missed ask the question. I know my Kundalini is activated. Okay. I know that because every time I go on a journey, I can see it, I can feel it, and the Kundalini take me to different places, introduce me to different meanings. The Kundalini, the way it acts, it's almost like an elevator. It takes me to different dimensions, and every time I go on a journey, I have.
I'm getting a little bit of a dissonance here when I listen to you. You're taking what they call the short path, and it's actually you're handling it well, I feel. But you shouldn't have to take a journey in order to feel Kundalini.
Right, that was my question, because I don't know how to do it at this point for some reason. Because I think I watched one of your videos, and what happened, it's like, I think the mushrooms kind of helped me to activate my Kundalini. But then,
you shouldn't have to be taking mushrooms to feel it. Now, if you're on the path, and the path is teaching you well, like the bee comes along and says this or that, or some other, natural creature of Kundalini, which a bee is, comes along and is saying, giving you certain instructions, I don't see that as particularly negative.
No, it's not. I have nothing negative about my whole starting experience.
It seems like your seventh chakra is handling this. Oh, are you getting headaches at all?
No, actually, I feel stronger. It's totally even my body.
I think your psychology is handling this okay. I certainly don't recommend it for people to do. That is not the path that I teach, as you know.
Yes, of course. And that was not my intention when I tried the magic mushroom, because I've never tried any
I think you were kind of drawn to it. I think that there was something inside you calling to that path. I'm not. The reason why I don't suggest it isn't because it's an evil path at all. I mean, geez Louise, I've done ayahuasca 7 times now. Yuck. I myself have taken psilocybin mushrooms 4 times in my life. Enjoyed it each time I took them. I've just had to counsel and work with people that have had extremely bad experiences taking psilocybin and looking for God or looking for Kundalini. So much so that they've been literally driven insane. And so, I look at that, and I've worked with that, and this is why I will not ever recommend people to take psilocybin, or ayahuasca is much safer, but psilocybin can really overwork the 7th chakra to the point where a person takes years to recover. I
totally agree.
But not for you.
Something.
How do I pronounce your name, by the way?
It's like going to the zoo and drinking beer. Zoo beer.
Okay, so Zubir, I don't think it's a negative thing for you, and I think that you were called there by your own intuitive guidance to go to that mushroom seminar and to listen to that guy and to take 6 months and gestate the information and receive more guidance to do the psilocybin experience, and here you are.
Yeah, because when I went on it for journey, I know it's bizarre because the Kundalini came to me.
I don't want you to become an addict to it.
Oh yes, I'm not. I'm not at all. I just really enjoy those experiences that I do. I'm really not an addict at all. It's just every experience is just so profound. It's just.
Well, I won't suggest you stop, but maybe you can lower your. You don't do it every day. You don't do it once a week. Maybe you do it once a month. And you
that's what I do. That's what I do.
While you're
that's
inside
what
the
I do.
Zubir,
I only do the once a month.
Listen, listen to me.
Yes?
Listen to me, please. Inside of your experience, while you're at the height of the experience, the Kundalini, what it would like you to do during the day outside of the mushroom experience in order to feel and resonate with the Kundalini in a stronger fashion. Let her tell you, while you're within the mushroom, what she wants you to do while you're not within the mushroom. You understand?
Yes, totally.
That's what I would have you do.
Okay.
So far, you've been guided well. I think you can trust
it. That is a very important question, because the question that I ask are actually not part of this reality. It's always what's in the unknown, actually. So I'm always taking over there to all those parallel world, the dimension. I mean, it's just so fascinating. But I really never really asked about this reality, actually.
I think that I can kind of see a pattern of probability that will follow you. But go ahead and do that first, and let's see how she responds, okay?
Right. Yes,
right.
I will do that.
Thank you for your call. Thank you for your excellent call, Zuber. I'm going to bring you into the blue here. And ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our program, and I'm going to bring Santara on and see if she has any last words. And I'd like to say, before you start, Santara, thank you for the level of teaching through your experiences that you've given to the people listening today.
Well, thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you. I don't have anything further to say, really, except thank you to everybody who called in, people in the archives and the chat room, and see you all at the same time next week.
Sane Kundalini channel, the Sane Kundalini station. I want to say thank you to everybody as well, and you can reach us at Facebook on Kundalini Awakening ! Where you can see some of the free videos on Chrism.Kundalini on YouTube. For Yahoo channel users, you can go to Kundalini Awakening Systems 1 at Yahoo Groups. And thank you all for listening, and I'll end it like I started it here.